Hello every pony and welcome to Brony FanFics. Today, Pinkie Meets the Universe by Cobra Commander. This is just basically something random as usual. And yeah, sounds like fun. Again, the background noise is probably my fan if you can hear it. Just try to ignore it. And yeah, let's get reading. So, Pinkie Meets the Universe by Cobra Commander. The universe is an impossibly vast and mysterious place filled with untold wonder and beauty. Infinite, glorious and breathtaking. Its miraculous workings brings tears to the eyes of artists, scientists and laymen alike. Even the infinitesimally minute silver of the cosmos visible from the eye from any given star, planet or asteroid is enough to leave even the most cynical of souls utterly breathless. Truly, the universe is as magnificent as it is vast, stretching beyond sight and sound and imagination. Also, it's a colossal jerk. As a matter of fact, it would not be stretching the truth to say that the most spiteful entity in the universe was, in fact, the universe itself. It loved nothing more than to ram galaxies together, smash asteroids into planets, and wipe out vast swaths of the cosmos with hypernova radiation, all for the sake of making sure that life never reared its disgusting little head. In fact, the very idea of living organisms crawling around its vast, unfathomable reaches was enough to give the universe the heebie-jeebies. Yet, despite all its efforts to make itself as utterly inhospitable to life as possible, and its obsessive urge to quash any living things that did show up, when you're the size of everything that exists, it can be hard to catch every last viable planet that falls through the cracks. Fortunately for the universe, even when one of those planets did manage to go unnoticed long enough for an infestation to take root, life rarely got any farther along the microscopic stage, only to get randomly obliterated a few million years later by a serendipitous asteroid impact or a supernova. Given these comforting facts, the universe was not expecting to encounter anything particularly unsettling when it began investigating a tiny star that was behaving rather strangely in a distant, remote corner of itself. The universe's expectations were decidedly not met. It was possible for the sum total of all existence to jump onto a chair and scream. That is precisely what would have occurred when the universe saw that what was lurking on the planet orbiting. No, being orbited by the strange, unruly star. It was life. Lots of life. Ludicrous, riotous quantities of life, oozing all over the place. And probably getting who knows what all over the topography. It wasn't even the relatively benign, microscopic sort of life that the universe had gone fairly good at ignoring. It was advanced, multicellular life, and it almost looked like it was sentient. Oh, son of a structures, cities, language, literature, tools, donuts! It was sentient, repressing the urge to simply throw every supermassive black hole in a billion light-year radius at the offensive ball of life cooties. The universe felt obligated to first determine what it was about this particular infestation that was causing a perfectly lovely star to act in such a baffling manner. So, mentally cringing as it did so, the universe brought its gaze down on the macroscopic scale and proceeded to look at what these horrible, squirming masses of ichness were doing to its now thoroughly defiled planet. Pinkie prided herself on knowing every pony in Ponyville, next to partying and baking, remembering the names, faces, birthdays, and food allergies of every pony in town, and was probably what the energetic pink pony did best. Of course, the natural first step to remembering a pony was becoming their friend, and the first step in becoming a pony's friend was welcoming them to Ponyville. Pinkie remembered fondly the party she had thrown to welcome the town's new weather captain, not so long ago. A super-duper, speedy-rific Pegasus named Rainbow Dash. It was a nice change from the subdued, low-key gathering Pinkie had organised for the shy yellow Pegasus that had moved into the cottage at the end of town a while ago. It had taken Pinkie months to convince Fluttershy to come to a welcoming party. which is probably why she had Shy right there in her name. Now that the Poofy party planner gave it some thought, Pinkie Pie really hoped that being put in charge of the music for the summer sun celebration would help her reclusive friend come out of her shell. Shell? Just like a turtle. I bet Fluttershy wishes she had a shell to hide in. Ooh, maybe I can make her one. Then we could throw a yay for Fluttershy having a literal shell instead of just a figurative one party. And since Fluttershy can't just hide in her new non-figurative shell, she can come out of it even if it's loud and exciting. That's a great idea. Filing away the idea in a seemingly endless mental list of amazing party plans, Pinkie Pie decided to start work on Fluttershy's non-figurative shell after tomorrow night's summer sun celebration, before she could get started on yet another endearingly ridiculous mental tangent. However, Pinkie suddenly came to a dead stop as a familiar series of twitches began to rocket around her body, the telltale sign of a Pinkie Sense combo, and this was one of her favourites. Ooh, let's see, front? Pinkie Pie's voice is just hard to do. Oh, let's see, front left knee spasm, right eye twitch, tongue tingle, and that can only mean a new pony in Ponyville! Rushing up and down the streets of Ponyville, she attempted to pinpoint the location of the newcomer. Pinkie was already going through a plethora of potential welcome methods. It was always important to make a good first impression. After all, so Pinkie had to make sure she got everything just right. Greeting some pony new was an art form after all, and Pinkie was a master of the craft. She was confident that whoever the new arrival was, they would become fast friends. Nearing the edge of town, another Pinkie Sense combo alerted the party pony that her quarry was nearby. A huge grin plastered on her face. Pinkie whipped her head around at a ludicrous speed, searching for her soon-to-be super-duper pony pal. What she found instead was something else entirely. Her grin was quickly replaced with a furrowed brow and thoughtful expression, an exceedingly rare occurrence for the perpetually chipper pony. Pinkie, for all of her pony welcoming expertise, had to admit that she was a bit baffled at how to go about greeting this particular newcomer. For starters, it was most definitely not a pony, or anything for that matter. There was nothing visible to be spoken of, but Pinkie definitely felt an unmistakable presence in the area. It was like a feeling of being watched, magnified to a palpable degree, and there was clearly an intelligence behind it. The closest analogy Pinkie could come up with is that this is probably what it felt like for a cartoon character who had suddenly become aware of the audience. Me? A cartoon? Pinkie, that's just silly, even for you. Anyway, welcome to Ponyville, mysterious, palpable force. I'm Pinkie Pie. What's your name? Pinkie Pie felt a definite shift in the unseen entity, almost as if it were confused, before it refocused its attention on her, after which Pinkie suddenly got the impression that she was being questioned. Hi! Yes, I'm talking to you, Mr. Eldritch Being. Are you one of those thingies from beyond time and space that make ponies go crazy with cyclopean visions of impossible geometries and sunken cities holding dead gods dreaming? Because my Granny Pie saw those all the time. The four seemed to go still for several long moments, as if contemplating Pinkie's words. Then, without warning, the Pink Earth Pony got the peculiar sense that reality itself was running around, screaming. To say that the universe was panicking would be an understatement of, well, universal proportions. The very instant it had realised that the horrid pink lifeform could actually sense its presence, the universe's first thought was to blow up the planet's sun. Its second thought was to blow up all the suns. Its third thought was to blow up all the suns twice. Fortunately for the collective fabric of the cosmos, the universe managed to calm down long enough to think somewhat rationally. This was not the first time it had been forced to observe sentient life forms at close perception levels, but it most certainly was the first time one of the things had shown any signs of being aware of its presence. As disgusting as it was, the universe knew that interacting with the squirming pink creature was the only way it would get to the bottom of the ridiculous situation. After it had learned all there was to learn from the pink entity, the universe would collapse the planet's silly little star into a singularity, and everything would be back to normal. Steeling itself with comforting thoughts of planetary annihilation, the universe shifted its perception back down to the lifeform's level, hoping that their interaction would be brief. Pinkie Pie patiently waited for the strange presence to return, her growing excitement at the prospect of making a new friend overriding her previous confusion regarding the intangible nature of the strange entity. It seemingly vanished after its initial panic, a reaction Pinkie found quite reminiscent of her own many years ago, when a bat had flown into her face as a filly. The pink pony silently hoped that she had not said something to offend the unseen presence. After all, she hadn't even gotten to the chance to throw a party yet. Pinkie's musings were interrupted, however, when she once again felt a distinctive palpable force slowly return to the area, which had the effect of instantly bringing a huge smile to her face. Directing said smile at where she, more or less, felt the presence emanating from, Pinkie once more greeted the mysterious visitor. "Hi again! Sorry if I scared you before. I'm usually really good at meeting new ponies, but you honestly aren't a pony, so I guess that's good for making ponies happy. Might not be so good for making an unseen presence happy. Could you maybe give me some pointers in case I meet any other non-ponies like you? Oh, but first, you should tell me your name so I can throw you a party!" Pinkie Pie's exponentially escalating excitement over the course of her rambling reintroduction ultimately led to her literally jumping for joy with the final exclamation of her favourite word in the whole wide world. She packed so much raw, unfiltered joy into the single utterance, in fact, that the unseen being seemed to latch onto it as it travelled through the air, carefully analysing it in some inconceivable fashion. At least that's the impression Pinkie got, which, to be fair, wasn't based on anything other than gut instinct. Still, gut instinct had always served her well, and the increased interest the entity seemed to be taking in her must have meant that she was doing something right. "Anyway, my name is Pinkie Pie, in case you forgot. Can you tell me your name? Do unseen forces possessed with intellect have names? Ooh, if not, I can give you one. I always wanted to be able to name some pony." Pinkie once more had the feeling the presence was weighing her words, but this time, much to her surprise and delight, there was a response. Words seemed to seep from every corner of existence simultaneously, and embedded itself in her mind to create a single statement. "I am the universe." That's what I'd imagine the universe sounded like. For the first time in a very, very long time, Pinkie was struck speechless for approximately 3 seconds. "Oh wow, so you're like the collective consciousness of all creation? The grand unified wheel of all reality?" "Yes." If joy had a sound, Pinkie Pie would have been making it. This was it, the greatest moment of her life. Everything she had ever accomplished, striving for and aspired to be, culminated in this instant. Pinkie Diane Pie could now claim with 100% veracity that she was friends with the entire bucking universe. Eee! This was the most amazing, super stupendly... This is the most amazing, super stupendly grantastical thing ever! I'm friends with the entire universe! Oh my gosh! I get to throw a party for the entire universe too! This is going to be the most incredible party ever. She would need to rent out all of Ponyville for this kind of shindig. No, all of Canterlot. She needs to order pallets of streamers, tons of confetti, crates of balloons, plethoras and pianos, gallons of... What is a party? Also, what is a friend? Every gear in Pinkie's mind came to a screeching halt. Every thought regarding to the jubilation of untold scale and intensity she had been planning mere moments ago, shattering like peanut brittle under a sledgehammer. You don't know what a party is? You don't know what a friend is? Pinkie could feel the confusion of the universe swirl around her as it responded. No. What are they? I don't know why the universe sounds like a dying man. Maybe it takes a lot of energy to speak to sentient beings. I don't know. At this point, Pinkie's brain was desperately attempting to process the monumental revelations, doing all in its power to rationalize the universe's apparent ignorance of the two most important things in, well, the universe. Clearly, it was just a communication breakdown, Surely the universe was familiar with the concept of friends and parties, it just never heard of them given those specific names before. Confident that she had solved the conundrum, Pinkie Pie promptly set about resolving it. Well, a friend is anyone like that you like to spend time with, that makes you happy when you see them, that you would help out in a jam, and that you just really like. A party is when a whole bunch of friends all gather together and play games and listen to music and drink punch and eat sweets and dance and just have a super duper fun time with each other. And you know what I'm talking about when I mention friends and parties, right? Grinning and nodding, Pinkie eagerly awaited her detailed explanations to sink in, and for the universe to assure her that it was intimately familiar with all these important concepts. I do not understand. I have never done these things. I have always been alone. The mental whiplash of the universe's horrifying statement was very nearly caused Pinkie to faint. No friends, no parties, no one at all, ever? The mere thought of such a horribly lonely existence caused Pinkie's fluffy mane and tail to abruptly deflate and flatten, very much like a leaky balloon. But how is that possible? You're the universe. You're everything. How could you be alone when you have every living thing everywhere ever to keep you company? You should have more friends than anything. Pinkie could almost feel reality itself shudder as the universe cringed in response to her statement. Do not remind me of life. It crawls and creeps and infests all over me. The mere thought makes me sick. Pinkie Pie blinked, slowly processing what the universe had just said. Life was creeping and crawling all over it? Pinkie suddenly had a mental image of billions of tiny bugs crawling all over her and shuddered at the thought. Even she would have had a hard time befriending a bunch of icky things that were crawling all over her. No wonder the universe didn't have friends or parties compared to something as vast as the totality of existence and everything else that was just as gross as little creepy crawlers that gave it the heebie-jeebies. With this newfound understanding of the universe's plight, Pinkie was filled with renewed vigour and sense of purpose, which lifted her spirits and reproofed her mane. It was decided she was going to be the universe's first ever friend. I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Universe. I wouldn't really like making friends with a bunch of little icky little things either. But how often have you zoomed down to our level to take a good look at us? Almost never. The idea was simply disgusting. I think, like the universe's voice, I was trying to go for more of a whisper, but it kind of turned into someone with a throat infection. Or, well, lost their voice, I don't know. Nodding sagely, Pinkie fixed an emphatic gaze on the general location where she imagined the universe was manifested. This makes sense, but did you ever think that the reason you find all this icky wiki is because you never took the chance to get to know us? It's hard to make friends with somebody if you're looking down on them from like years away. After all, if you spent some time just watching us go about our lives, maybe you'd enjoy it. And instead of getting the heebie-jeebies when you found life somewhere, you get excited instead. There was a long silence, and Pinkie could feel a torrent of thoughts and ideas rushing just past her perception as the universe carefully considered her words. After nearly 5 minutes of contemplation, the universe finally responded. Perhaps you are right. I must admit, I have enjoyed conversing with you. Does that make us friends? The smile that spread over Pinkie's face simultaneously defied every known law of physics and biology with its sheer size. She was, for real this time, officially friends with the entire bucking universe. Of course we are! I'm super duper proud to be your firstest, bestest ever friend, Mr. Universe. I can't wait to throw you a party. Pinkie suddenly felt mirth radiating from every corner of creation. With that she realised must have been Universe's laughter, and it was an experience she would remember for the rest of her days. In my time, my friend, in time, I must depart, but I will return soon to watch you and your friends. And thank you, Pinkie Pie, for bringing me laughter. With a final wave of cosmic chuckling, the universe is suddenly gone, leaving Pinkie to gaze at the sky in wonderment, her impossibly wide smile glinting in the afternoon sun. She could hardly wait to tell Gummy about her new friend. Oh, blast it all! The universe had forgotten to ask Pinkie about why her planet's sun was behaving so strangely. Not to mention, there was definitely a peculiar feeling surrounding that bizarre crater formation on the moon. Still, the universe knew that someday, soon, it would be returning to that strange, out-of-the-way corner of itself. He would just ask Pinkie Pie about it later. In the meantime, for the first time in eons, he had something to look forward to, and a sense of purpose beyond wanton destruction. In fact, the universe decided now would be the perfect time to see if there were another planets inhabited by wonderful creatures like Pinkie Pie. Choosing a new galaxy at random, the universe found a promising-looking star system with a charming mix of gas giants and standard planets. Most were barren though beautiful. But the third planet out from the star, it was a riot of life, much like the one Pinkie Pie called home. Eager to make new friends, the universe shifted its perception down to the surface of the planet. A planet inhabited by peculiar species of bipedal, furless primates. This is, of course, Earth. Approximately 5 minutes later, the universe simultaneously detonated every star in the galaxy. Yep, I can see that happening. GG Earth. GG. So that was Pinkie Pie Meets the Universe. I liked it. The ending was good. I can see that happening, to be honest. Yeah, I liked it. That was nice. Definitely random and just the universe's voice didn't come out kind of like the way I wanted it, but I suppose it was better than nothing. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and yeah, if there's nothing else to say, keep on spreading the magic of friendship, and I'll see you next time.